The following video has been brought to you with limited commercial interruption by Internet Commercialism.
I've talked before about how different projects of mine came to be. I guess it just goes to show that different ideas can have different origins because they come about in different manners. But I suppose one common source of inspiration for my creative process, and one I'm sure is true for many other artists out there, is that most of my better ideas tend to come to me in my dreams. And just because I have such really strange and bizarre dreams that sometimes lead to my creations, I explored this a little bit in a pseudo-autobiographical experimental film I produced called Technicolor Dreams. As a matter of fact, the entire premise of that film was essentially a fictionalized genesis of how one of my more ambitious and elaborate ideas for a project had come into my mind, but has yet to get off the ground. Such as the two dream sprites who visit me in the night symbolically represent a pair of characters from that particular idea of mine.
We are dream sprites of Cloud9. We come to help you get your dreams back in line. Oh yeah!
But as I said, every once in a while a really great idea for a project will come to me in my dreams, despite the fact that roughly 99% of my dreams are really strange, bizarre, trippy, and borderline disturbing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, huh? Sounds like you've been watching too many Sid and Marty Krofft shows.
Sometimes a project of mine can come about just simply as a whim, like another little short that I did years ago called The Windmill. And what reason did I have for making this short? Well, artistically none whatsoever. I just like windmills. Technically speaking, however, it was something of an excuse for me to start getting myself adjusted to a more professional editing program, as this was my first time editing a production in Adobe Premiere. And I wanted to teach myself how to do things I was previously incapable of really doing beforehand, such as lighting and visual effects. Because up until then, I only had Movie Maker. And as we all know, and as an editing program, Movie Maker is pretty much just a joke. And not only can certain projects of mine come about as a whim, but sometimes I can get so immersed into the creative process, you'd be surprised the lengths that I would go to just to get it done. A good example of this was the Panda documentary I did. Now granted, this mainly came up simply because whoever this street artist is, their panda tag was popping up all over town for quite some time, and they were always so different and unique that I had to document as many of them as I could before either they were buffed or the structures that they were tagged on were demolished. And not only did I go all over town to find some of these tags, but they also gave me a little taste of urban exploring as well, as some of these were found in old abandoned buildings. I even ended up spending 2.5 hours walking around downtown with my camera just to film 40 seconds worth of establishing shots. And speaking of documentaries, we used to have a local holiday here called Boomsday. It was essentially like an encore of the 4th of July on the Sunday before Labor Day, with a bunch of fireworks and music. It was our way of sending summer out with a bang. Literally. But as of 2015, the city decided it was too expensive to keep organizing the event year after year. And so since that ended up being the final celebration, never to be seen by locals or visiting tourists ever again, I documented what ended up being Boomsday, the final countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And you know, sometimes things happen that disrupt the fabric of society as we know it. And when that happens, it doesn't hurt to try to bring a little levity into the situation.
We're stuck inside, all we do is cry and whine and fuss. We were happy without a single care. But now we come to you with the air.
I mean, what can I say? When it comes to the projects I work on, my creative process knows no bounds. Hey! Talk about your limited commercial interruptions, huh?